Good afternoon. My name is Fatemeh Saba Forouzan. I'm with the Next Wave Committee, the team that programs this event and the rest of this festival for you. To begin, we would like to acknowledge that tonight's event is taking place on the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of New Credit and the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe and the Huron-Wendat. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work and gather on this land. Thank you to our lead sponsor, Bell, and to our major sponsors, RBC, L'Oreal Paris, and Visa. Thanks also to our major public sponsors, the City of Toronto and the Ontario Arts Councils, for their ongoing support. The TIFF Next Wave Committee is supported by the Slate Family Foundation Learning Fund. And of course, thank you to our members and donors for their generous contributions to TIFF and those who support TIFF's learning programs year-round. If you're wondering how to get up on this stage too, TIFF is already recruiting new members for the 2019-2020 TIFF Next Wave Committee. A group of 12 high school students like me who love film and plan this festival and get to tag films in the September festival as well. Applications will be available soon at tiff.net/nextwave. Banana Split is the best love triangle film I have seen in a while. I fell in love with the characters, and especially April. Her quick wit and her ability to show the dynamic of the "we're still friends" breakup really spoke to me. We're lucky enough to have Ben Kasulke with us today, so I'd like to invite him up to say a few words.
Thank you. What an awesome intro. Toronto, this is the best. I grew up across that border in New York and was like a sad kid listening to much music and looking over here with binoculars and crying. I love Toronto and I love Canada, and this has really been such a great festival. Thank you to the Next Wave staff for programming us. This is so cool, and I'm really happy to be here and showing you this movie. And this theater is really special to me. I'm usually a DOP, and I shot a lot with Guy Madden. And the last time I was here was for TIFF 5 or 6 years ago, and I got to premiere Keyhole in I think this theater, and it was awesome. And so it's really, really special to be back in this building. And thank you to the staff here and the TIFF Lightbox, and it's so cool that you, as a city, have this as a resource. I'm really pleasantly jealous that this is in your world. So yeah, we made this movie. It's hopefully a lot of fun. We had a good time making it. I don't want to say too much about it, but we just tried to make something funny that had some good ideas behind it on the way I think maybe people should learn how to grow up sometimes. So enjoy it, and we'll see you afterwards. I believe Hannah is going to be Skyping in. So Hannah Marks, who I'm a huge fan of, and hopefully you will be in about 3 minutes, will be Skyping in to talk to us. She's the producer, she's the star, and she's the co-writer of the film, and she's amazing. So we'll be back to talk to you afterwards, and thank you. Bye.
Yeah, hi, my name is Haikun. Not sure if you introduced yourself, Teho.
I am Teho, sorry.
Guess we're just doing this like introducing each other thing. Anyways, I'm here to introduce, we have the director of the film, Ben Kasulke, with us. And
thank you. Oh my God, this is awesome. Thank you for staying around for Q&A. Hopefully we're entertaining.
And I believe, is Hannah Marks
Hannah
Skyping?
Is supposed to be Skyping in, so I'm not sure if that's happening or how that's happening, but we can keep moving with her, and if she comes in, great, and if not, we'll keep moving ahead.
Cool. All right, sounds good.
Okay, perfect. So to start off, I have a question for you. So I found this hilarious. I mean, this was my second time watching it, and I was dying. I don't know if you guys could hear my laugh. I'm so sorry if I was very obnoxious. But I just wanted to ask a question about how had this like perfect duality between like humor, but also deep, meaningful themes such as like love and friendship. And I just wanted to know how you explored those themes throughout the film.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, Hannah sent the script over, and I mean, I loved the sense of humor. It's really kind of outlandish, and it starts kind of mean and then gets somewhere really sweet. And a lot of coming of age films that really resonate with me, like Superbad does that really well, where you're watching it and you're like, this is a gross comedy, and by the end, it's actually really tender and sweet, and you kind of just shows a different approach to coming of age film. And so like I liked that about the script, and then it was really, when we were on set, it was really just like, let's make this as fun as possible to watch, but kind of there's a bit of an agenda underneath all of the humor, and that's what resonated with me when I read the script and when we were trying to make it. And I just wanted to be able to make something that people could enjoy, but also have something to think about, especially in dealing with the way that women interact with each other at that age and kind of become aware and start to prioritize friendships and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. Just bouncing off that question, could you talk about like maybe like the importance and the themes of like platonic relationships that you tackle in this film?
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky. I grew up on a different era of kind of teen films, if you want to make it a genre. So I kind of came up on John Hughes and stuff in the 80s and 90s, and female friendships weren't explored super well. There was usually there was like a mentor figure and then someone that kind of learns from them, but I never really could find a film where two young women were complicated and messy.
Hi.
Yes.
Oh wait. Oh, sorry.
Oh
wait, we have to look there for her to see us.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hello,
Hi.
Hannah.
Can we? Oh, we can't hear you.
I think that. Oh, and you got
wow,
Liana.
Damn! It's like a
Awesome.
double Skype session.
This is awesome.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, Hannah, we're
Hello,
working
the
on
sound.
audio. Maybe check and see if your microphone might be muted.
Can you not hear
Oh,
me?
there we
Yes,
go.
we
there
can
we go.
hear you.
now.
Okay, wait, now it's not bad.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Thank you so much for coming.
Where are you guys?
I'm just in my room and I wanted to FaceTime her how cute we were at the end of the movie.
You won. You won the cute game.
What'd you say, Liana?
Oh, that's awesome. It's just like the movie, but real.
Yeah.
I'm setting her down now, but if anyone has a question for her, she'll be on my laptop.
Awesome.
Perfect. Cool.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Liana.
All right, so I think we're gonna proceed to audience questions. If anyone in the audience member has any questions.
Before we do audience questions, can I just point something out? Darren, can you stand up? Our DOP, Darren Moran, is here. And so if people have questions about cinematography, he and I will be hanging out in the lobby afterwards. We're happy to talk to everybody. We're really excited you're here. So if there are cinematography questions, Darren can field those.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, we have mic runners for anyone who has any questions in the audience members. Yes.
There you go, right there.
Ooh,
The mic is coming. The mic's coming.
It's even easier with the microphone. Yeah.
I really quickly wanted to point out that Ben is also an incredible cinematographer. So him with Darren, they're like the dream team.
Those glasses are the dream team. Those are awesome. Those are new. Sorry, you have a question.
Yeah, I was just wondering, did you make a cameo in the film as the Lyft driver? Or is
I
that just
did
me
not.
making
I
that
wish.
up?
I wish that was me. That guy is so much cooler than I will ever be. That's an actor named Steve Little. And
Oh
if
my
you guys
goodness,
ever watch
okay, I'm
Eastbound
wrong.
and Down, he's on that show. And I've just done a lot of movies with him over the years. And we had this Lyft driver sequence, and Steve came out, and we improvised a much longer scene. Like Hannah can probably talk about this. There was a lot more improv in the film, but then as we started to find the most succinct version of the narrative, things got trimmed down. So Steve had a slightly larger part and kind of went a little more angry at the kids for making out in the back seat. And he was extra awkward. He was one of those Lyft drivers that's like super helpful with way too much water and like candy that you shouldn't be eating anyway. And we had him kind of dig in. He's really fun. But I wish I was Steve. Steve's way cooler than I will ever be.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Do you have any other questions? Yes, right up there.
Hi, this is a question to Hannah and the director. How much of the story was based on a true story? Because I just found the acting to be so authentic, so well directed, and just so well executed in general.
I mean, I think I'm definitely playing a version of myself. I'm not gonna lie. I had an experience very similar to this in high school, and I used it as my first writing exercise, really. And it turned into this script, and things got fictionalized over the years. And Ben came on and gave his notes and had really great input, and it kind of went from there.
Hannah, this just to piggyback on that, right before you chimed in, there was a question about some of the other, like, you know, obviously this is a comedy and it has some drama elements, but there was a question about some of the other themes you were trying to explore, maybe about just being a young woman and friendships and things like that, if there's anything you want to add.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted to make a female friendship movie because I felt like at the time there was, Bridesmaids and Girls and some really awesome movies that explored this subject matter, but not really at this age group, and that was really exciting to me. And I also wanted to portray girls as complicated and imperfect because I think right now with the Me Too movement, everything that's happening with people talking about, women taking center stage, sometimes it's getting lost that women can still be flawed. I think a lot of times people are trying to portray women as being, heroic or like they should be some kind of idol, but really playing a complicated woman was more important to me.
That's so beautiful and very truthful. Thank you for that.
Thank you. And thank you to the person who asked the question and gave that compliment. It's very sweet.
Thank you. Yeah, it was my question, but thanks.
Just set him up. You could just slam dunk him.
Do you have any more questions?
3.
Oh, 3? Can you put your hands up high?
Right here in the middle.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Well, thank you for being proactive with the microphone.
First of all, amazing movie. It was very good.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to ask, because I know that, Hannah, you executive produced and wrote it, sorry, and you directed. So how did that kind of work on set of yeah?
Well, thankfully, I mean, I trust Ben with my whole heart. We've been friends for many years, and he was just the perfect choice to make this movie. He's just one of the kindest, most artistic people I know. I think it was definitely a balancing act of figuring out what worked for both of us and brought out the best in both of us, I think.
Yeah, I think we got really lucky in that you were, obviously you were always on set. You were in almost every scene, but not only were you there as a performer who had intimate knowledge of your source material, but I think it was really helpful for you and I you were there as a writer. There was things that we had to revisit, or when we were working under a pretty strict budget, so we had to rewrite things and reconceive things. And there was times where I think as a storyteller, I probably would have been lost without some of your insight as far as the dramatic beats and filling in some of the gaps when we had to, or when parts of the story were, just needed a little help. You were there. So it was pretty symbiotic, I think. And yeah, as Hannah said, we met many years ago, so we kind of had just had a good friendship going into it.
Yeah, we met during the Sundance Lab, which is where you basically workshop a movie on the mountain in Utah, Robert Redford's mountain. So it was a really beautiful, exciting time and a fun way to meet, and just our whole friendship has been so creative. And that's actually where I met Steve Little as well, who was the Lyft driver. That's
right. Yeah, I was shooting 2 different projects. One had cast Hannah, and the other had cast Steve Little. So I guess it all kind of came full circle. We can thank Mr. Redford for that.
Do we have any other questions?
There's one here.
I think in the 3rd row. Yes. Yes. Right there.
Hi, this is kind of adding on to the last question. So, Hannah, I love you and Dirk Gently. You're fantastic in that. It's a great show, and I really love you in that. I'm just wondering if you're going to be doing any more sci-fi stuff or writing any more sci-fi stuff.
Oh gosh, thank you. Well, I wrote a robot love story. It's basically if Ex Machina was a comedy. I'm really obsessed with robots right now. That counts as sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
And then, I acted in a movie called Daniel Isn't Real, which is a genre movie, which Elijah Wood produced. So that's kind of in the Dirk Gently world. And I think if you like Dirk, you'll like that movie. That's playing South by Southwest next month. And then hopefully we'll come out to theaters after that.
That's awesome. Thank you.
That is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching Dirk.
Any more questions?
Do we have any maybe for, well, we got one here. Maybe after his, if anybody has any for Liana, she's here too. In electrical spirit. Oh, you can go loud and I'll repeat it for you. I'll relay this, Hannah. So the question was, it's for Hannah, and it's what were some of your better memories of making the film? And the sort of second question was, let's see if I get this right. It was sort of about your working relationship with me versus a project, something like Dirk Gently, which is just a different beast altogether. Was that it? Yeah.
Wait, sorry, what was the first one part?
Best memory on set.
Memories. Oh, well, definitely working with Liana because I'm not just saying that because she's here. Because Liana has been one of my best friends since I was 11 and she was 9, and now I'm 25 and she's 23. Are you 23 yet? 20, yeah, 23. So that was a really beautiful thing. One, it was a dream come true. We had been wanting to do this together forever, and we just had so much fun, and it made the whole experience much more comfortable because we had each other. So I had fun every single day. I mean, it was really all of my friends on set, like, the girl that plays Sally, like the Molly Sally duo. I've known her for a gajillion years. One of my best friends, Christina, was the on-set photographer, and Ben and I have known each other for 6 years now, so every moment was really a blast for me because it was like how often do you get to make a movie with all your friends?
It really came through. The chemistry was insane. Like, it really was extraordinarily real.
On knowing you for that long, Hannah, how come I never knew you had a samurai sword in your room? That's awesome.
From the creator of Dirk Gently. Oh, that was the second part of the question. I wrote a movie with samurai swords, and Max Landis, who created Dirk Gently, showed up at my house with a samurai sword as inspiration. That's weird. And then this was very different than working on Dirk because Dirk Gently, you have a different director every single week, which is how TV works, and that's really, really fun. But it's just a completely different experience than making a movie.
I mean, I really think the samurai sword completes the composition of the background, but
it's an aesthetic. It's a vibe.
Yeah, it is.
It's a total vibe.
You framed that well.
I have it tilted up because my room is so messy, and I didn't want you guys.
It's just filled with samurai swords all over the floor.
Yeah.
All right, I think we have one last question for the audience.
Can I add a tiny one after our last question? It'll be super fast after the last one.
Sure. Right there with the hoodie in the back. Yes, you. You are the chosen one.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if there was a specific inspiration or purpose as to why at the end of the movie, Nick was kind of like, or Dylan was kind of like just like not cut out, but like just kind of discarded, and then it ended up just being about the friendship. Was there a specific purpose or inspiration for that to cut him out? Because we don't know like who he ends up with, if he ends up with anybody, if he keeps in contact, etc.
Hannah, do you want to tackle that from a writer perspective?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it was really important for Joey and I, who I wrote the script with, that it be about the girls and it's about their friendship. And the idea of the movie is that you think it's going to be this rom-com about a boy and girl falling in love in high school, but really it's about a platonic friendship. So it was really always going to end this way. And hopefully, you can still root for Dylan's character and hope he has a great life without the whole movie being about him, because really it was about April and Clara.
Yeah, and in the storytelling, we tried to you kind of set up a little pitfall at the beginning where you think it's going to be this one thing, and hopefully by the end, when it's not the thing you thought it was, you get to reflect back on what those kind of movies where the girl chases the guy and that's the happy ending, what that really might leave someone if you see a narrative where people prioritize friendship and loving each other over just getting the guy,
Absolutely.
Life lessons right there.
Yeah.
Life lessons.
I have one tiny question. It's for Liana and for Hannah. You guys have a lot of fans here, and I think everybody's wondering what comes next for you. What are you guys working on, and what can we look for?
Wait, hold up. Sorry, I got confused. Hold on, I'm putting Liana.
You swiped left on Liana after all this time?
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm like a grandma. Wait, did that work? Yeah.
She's flossing.
The question was, I hung up on her.
Oh. You can make up something for her.
Okay, wait, Liana, the question was, what's next for you?
I am shooting the second season of my Hulu show called Lights of Feather, which also stars Haley Ram, who is in Hannah's movie.
Oh, lovely.
And yeah, and then there's something that I shot earlier, but I can't talk about it yet, so I don't know if I shot a pilot, and I don't know if we're getting picked up yet, but hopefully we do.
Awesome.
Woo woo!
And how about you, Hannah? What can we look for?
I'm directing a movie for Fox called Turtles All the Way Down, and it's based on a John Green novel.
And in the spirit of this festival, which is all for people 25 and under, you're the youngest director ever to be hired by a studio to make a movie like that, correct?
Round of applause.
Not to put you on the spot. It's pretty amazing. Nice going, lady.
Thank you. I'm very, very, very excited about it.
All right. I think that's the end of tonight's Q&A.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Toronto, and thank you, TIFF Next Wave, for having us. This is so awesome.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you, Hannah. Bye, Liana.
Thank you, Hannah. Bye. Thank you, Liana. And
thank you, everyone.
Ben.
And Darren and I will be hanging out outside if people have questions about stuff. We're so happy to talk to you about all of it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Hope you enjoyed the screening.
Please have the rest of a good night.